Welcome to Leaving Nothing to Chance, your go-to podcast where we bring you insights from some of the most influential voices in small business and personal development. Each week, we dive deep into conversations with top thought leaders, authors, and business moguls from around the world, sharing their secrets to success and strategies for growth. Tune in for exclusive content that will inspire, motivate, and equip you to take your journey to the next level. This is Leaving Nothing to Chance.
Hey, it's John Solleder. I want to welcome David Anzelmo
to
the show. And this is a little different show, folks. As you see, we are not in our studio in Richardson, Texas. We are up in McKinney, Texas. And McKinney, Texas, we're at the great Mike Womack, by the way, one of the greatest bench pressers in history. We're at his studio, one of his gyms. Mike was nice enough to lend us his building for this morning so we could do this, because I met David here actually at a powerlifting meet about a month ago, and he mentioned his Regen V Machine.
Yes.
Regen V Machine. And I was really interested in it, but I had to run. Could you imagine this? I had to run for a podcast to do. We shook hands and I took his brochure, and I got home, and when I looked at the information, I was like, wow, this is something, number one, I need to know about. Number two, our listeners need to know about. And number three, I need to try. So here we are. David's kind enough to come down from Indiana today to show us the machine. Now, I will give a caveat as we get into your background a little bit as a physical therapist that I'm a perfect patient because I've had spinal cord surgery, knee surgery, shoulder surgery, miscellaneous surgeries on fingers and different joints. As a long-term athlete, I've beat my body up really well, as you and I have already discussed.
Sure.
So some of our listeners know my athletic background, but I played competitive judo for many years, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, sambo, really beat up my joints really badly. So as a result of that, I've had surgery. So when I see something like this, just like many of you, I get really excited because I'm like, how can this help me? How can it help me feel a little bit better incrementally? So I'm fascinated, David. David, tell your background a little bit. I know 40 years physical therapist.
Yes, close to. In 2027, I graduated from Northern Illinois University in 1987. And then not too far after that, I got my athletic training degree and license. And I've been a clinician and also an athletic trainer at various high schools. And I've also done strength conditioning. I was one of the first certified strength conditioning specialists in the early 90s. So I have also worked with athletes as far as squat techniques and powerlifting type of techniques, and also set up weight rooms and assisted coaches and other professionals.
Great. And you're in what part of Indiana?
I'm just a little bit north of Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's a little town called Angola.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been there since 1993.
Great. And I know you work with a lot of athletes. I know you've got the hockey team.
Yeah.
Is that a junior team that you work with?
It's a beginning level of the NHL. But yeah, that's a team in Fort Wayne that I started working with. And then since then, I'm working with Utah State University. They've had my devices for the last 2 years now. And also I started with the UTA, and also Texas Christian University is using the devices.
Great.
And Athletic Performance Ranch and other entities are using it.
And I know you've got an Olympic decathlete who was it a bronze medal?
Yeah, the bronze medal, yeah.
What is his name?
That is...
We've got him on the cover of a magazine.
Yes, that is just like... His name is Lyndon Victor.
Lyndon Victor, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was at TCU the other day, and I struck up a conversation. He was stretching, took interest in it, because that is one of the most key things over the 40-year span of working with patients, and so much is learned through experience.
Right.
And there's great programs and degrees, but the more you work with people, the more you generate what is going on in the situation. And also, as a private practice owner, I have to compete with hospitals and clinics that the doctors own, and I have to be better than the rest and quicker. And so with that in mind, I had to do the programming that was the most efficient. And with that, I developed a program seeing that myofascia is really one of the key elements of dysfunction, and a big reason where people don't get success from surgeries or other methods. And so that's been my path of developing that and learning through the people I worked with.
Do you think too that we're at a point now, not only in the athletic community, but in the general population, that people
Yes.
recognize that stretching is so vital for longevity?
Stretching is longevity. And what we have seen is that people confuse aging with tightness, okay? And so tightness happens just so gradually. And before we know it, we can't move. And then we start getting pain. And most of the people that I talk with who have had surgeries, who are struggling with other issues, say, I didn't have an injury, I didn't have a traumatic event. Suddenly I woke up and there it is.
Great.
And what this will do is, and I use this carefully, but you could advance time or aging by not doing certain things, but you could also reverse time. Just as we lose so much strength per year as we pass our 30s and 40s, we could also build more strength. And so key elements to a much more healthier lifestyle and longevity is the more we move and do, the longer we're going to live.
Yeah, I did a show yesterday with a gentleman in Florida, and he was telling me about a guy who he had interviewed on his show, who for his 85th birthday, the guy just turned 86, but for his 85th birthday, he pedaled his bike 3,500 miles.
Wow.
So you hear stories like that. But
Yeah.
then you look at another 85-year-old that maybe is in a wheelchair or totally incapacitated.
Yeah.
There's so much about longevity that we don't know, but we're finding out more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Stretching is at the core of all of it. So
Yes.
you're in the right market, to say the least.
And the thing with stretching is that, you know, a lot of things look good on paper, and we all know we need the stretch, but stretching in a lot of ways doesn't happen. And especially when it comes to, I only have a limited time. If I love to run, I want to go out and run. If I have a limited time, I'm not going to take time to stretch. And that is the case for many situations, sports and pro sports, amateur, everything else. And so we have evolved in the last 10 years in regarding the use of muscle guns and foam rollers. So our awareness of stretching, not just in pulling our leg and arm in one direction or another, but actually understanding there's another system at play, a system that only stretching may address half of it.
And I want to address one other thing too before we actually use the machine.
Yeah.
And that's the fact that you did this because 40 years as a physical therapist, you saw the demand and the need of your patients where maybe they come to you once a week or once a month or whatever for therapy, but this is something that they can actually purchase and use at home if they so desire.
This, and again, I use caution, but what would happen is that I only get patients for a very finite amount of time. And unfortunately, insurances and the entities, they're very strict on how many visits. And so that's finite. But in reality, we need this type of therapy on a regular basis. And so in the sense of athletes, where I have them in training rooms or weight rooms, the athletes are there. They could use it on a daily basis. And that's really the key thing. We have to train on a daily basis. For our myofascial system, we have to train that on a daily basis. And that's the key thing.
Right.
And that's what keeps us healthy over the long term. So this is it's like another type of workout. We look at stretching and mobility as something unto itself.
I have to say, when I was younger, to your point, whatever I was going to do, I had limited time.
Yeah.
And I never stretched enough. And I remember when I was in high school, I went to play tennis with a girl who was a dancer. And I wanted to run on the court and start playing. And she said, I got to stretch. And I was like, oh, come on, let's just go hit the ball. And she said, when you're old, you're going to be sorry you didn't stretch more. And she was right.
No, 100%. And there's some disciplines. I was a gymnast in high school, and we spent at least a half hour or more just stretching because I had to do the splits in both directions and things like that. And some things, yes, but going back to the whole stretching only will do so much. We have to get it in and mobilize tissue. Stretching is what we call like a a one direction muscle stretch, but structure is more like carbon fiber or fiberglass. It is a matrix.
Okay.
So you have to go through there and dig it out. Now within that matrix is swelling, is lymphatics, and also you have structures, especially in your calves and thighs, which restrict the flow of fluid.
Okay.
And we're changing not just structure and mobilizing structure and scar tissue, but we're allowing circulation, which opens a whole nother avenue.
So why the name Regen V?
So we believe in regeneration, renewal, recovery. So I wanted that to encompass all things. And to people that come to my office, and many of them, they're like, this is the best my surgeon could do, and you're it. If you're not, this is how it's going to be.
Great.
And what we do, in a way, defines us. And I love running, and I need to run, but I can't. So I'm losing out on what the things I enjoy to do. As far as renewal and a restart, that's my passion, is to find a new path, find a new way. And so that's what really drove this. We got to do something better. There has to be something different out there.
But let's get started.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
where do we start?
Okay, we're going to start with your situation.
Yeah. Okay.
And from the information you gave me, it seems like you said the left hip is...
Yeah, the left one's really bad.
Okay.
The one's not great, but the right one's, as you see, I'm leaning on the right one. The left one is the one that really, for whatever reason, has just taken more wear and tear over the years.
Sure.
I think when I played judo, my left side was the side I threw on. So I was pivoting constantly on this. I think as I've gotten older, I know a lot of that cartilage is worn away.
Yeah, and that's a situation in both hips and knees. That is the trigger, and insurance companies, once it said, hey, there's no cartilage somewhere, the insurance, okay, we gotta do the knee replacement. However, in both categories, and cautiously and respectfully, 20 to 40% of knee replacements and hip replacements aren't needed. Yeah. Okay? And I don't mean, I am great friends with surgeons, things like that. We only know what we know. But at the same time, if there's not good alternatives, then what other choice do you have?
Exactly.
And so that's the other thing that I was seeing too, that people would do these things, or even they would have the back surgery. Oh, I'm still sore. Okay, now you need a hip replacement. So you had this constant ebb and flow of those situations. So what we found in the years of doing this, it's a way of figuring out, okay, we need a new algorithm, a new system. And so what we identified was that there are 5 main areas, and this is part of what the Regen V. It's all the V for vibration. It's energy, frequency, vibration, like Tesla. However, it's also the number 5 in Roman numerals. So we have 5 main areas. And so we have our calf, thigh, pelvis, thoracic, and forearm. Okay. And those 5 areas represent 80 to 90% of the dysfunctions. So there's limited sources, but infinite symptoms. Okay. Okay. So what we found is if we were able to really open up the calf and not just stretch it, but really get it moving, because I could say, okay, there's only so many calf stretches and there's only so much time I'm going to do things. And that was also the limiting factor as far as the success of mobility and stretching, that if it took too long, I'm gone. I'm out of here. Okay. And so the other factor was if it hurt a lot, we just tend not to want to do it. And so I did a little survey amongst my patients. I'm like, do you want therapy with pain or without? Okay. Yeah. If something feels good, and when you're doing it, you're going to tend to do it more. Sure. The other thing too is that if it's easy. So for instance, when I was at Utah State talking to this very knowledgeable strength conditioning coach, and he goes, hey, I got all these muscle guns. I got all these foam rollers. Why do I need this? Obviously, this is much bigger, much more expensive. And I go, what's that doing for you? And he just stepped back. And I goes, do you still have a lot of injuries? He goes, yeah. Some of these kids are just in their early 20s, and they're getting adult type, like 40s, 50s surgeries, things like that. I'm like, this is not a good situation. We let them try one, and what drove it was the kids got on it, they used it, and it was intuitive. They could just do it on their own and take care of themselves. So there's a couple paradigm shifts. I'm shifting physical therapy, massage, and things, and putting it in the hands of the masses. Yep. And the programming, and that's really the heart of it, is the programming, that it just directs me to the areas. It's like I could have a million choices of stretches if I typed in on Google, but I've limited things, and it's okay, what do I need? Because there's limited time. And so to change things, I have to have pressure and force. So imagine if I wanted to break up some concrete, I'm getting a jackhammer. Yeah. Okay? So your connective tissue is basically rebar. The concrete is the muscle. The connective tissue is the rebar. That holds it together. And if you see structures with all this rebar, that's how strong it is. So the other thing with the foam rollers, deep tissue massage by massage therapists, scraping, which I've been trained in all of that, and dry needling, is that they're helpful, but again, you have to have someone do it to you. And so it's finite, it's limited, it's only gonna last so long. And even with massage, I've talked to some people that spend $5,000 to $10,000 a year doing massages, and that's okay, but there has to be something more.
The world changed too with COVID. I think so many people realized, hey, I need to figure out things that I actually can do for myself at home because I can't go to that person because their facility's not open. So let's get into the machine. Right?
Yeah. So like in your situation, we're going to focus on your hip.
Okay.
Okay. Especially this area in here. And if someone were to say, we're going to play a little game here, we're going to limit you to one area to get the most effect.
Okay.
And that's the structure in here,
okay,
which is basically a combination of your hamstring, your IT band, and your quad. Because neurologically, your brain looks at things not just individual muscles, but what's going to produce the force. I have to get from A to B, so it's going to utilize multiple structures to do that, but it also utilizes tightness.
Okay.
It doesn't care. And so that comes with fascia. You've seen guys who are really wiry, but they're super, super strong. And so it's looking at the way the body functions through what we call now the neuromyofascial system, because they're finding that system, which if you imagine like Spider-Man has this suit on, that's that system. And that system integrates your muscles. That comes between your brain, fascia, and then your muscles. And so it uses multiple structures. And so they're re-engineering, or the thought process as far as what model we're using. Older model versus a newer one. So the neuromyofascial system explains better injuries, also explains better training, how we change that. So like in your situation, what we're going to do is I want you to just bring your feet apart a little bit, and I just want you to just squat a little bit, and we're just going to do a metric, okay? And then back up, okay? Do a couple more and go deeper like that, and you can see the left side is not
it's not
pushing.
stable.
And do you feel pain there, or do you?
It's not bad today, but it's kind of
in
this
there.
area right here.
Okay.
And it could be an impingement for that matter.
And the thing is that we're seeing more surgeries where they're going and working with the cartilage and things like the shoulder, like labrums and anything that has any level of cartilage where they could change or do. They're doing more of that. However, this is all mechanical. There's elements as far as lymphatics and swelling issues, but it's mechanical. And so if I don't change this structure here, because it's going to affect my kneecap, it's going to affect my hip, and it's going to affect my back. All right? So what we're going to do is you're going to lean on this. And you're going to approximate your thigh onto this. Okay?
About here?
Yeah, there you go. All right? And then you can hold on to the rail. Okay?
Oh, that feels good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Yeah.
And that helps.
Yeah.
Because
get the blood flowing.
Yes, but also just on the initial thing, most training, it hurts. But I'm used to that. But it must be doing something good because it hurts. And the same with the foam rolling and muscle gun, because those things are putting a pressure on the structure. This is an energy that passes the sensory nerves and starts breaking down structure. So for instance, like if you have kidney stones, they have energies to help break down. So they'll go through the softest areas and then find the hardest. So that's going to affect that. And so what you're going to do next is just start turning like that. Good. And you
want to roll it or?
Yeah, a little bit. And so what you're going to do is it's the search and destroy. Find and grind. And
that feels good.
Yeah. And you're also going to find areas that are like, oh my gosh, that's really sore there. Okay? So what happens is, going back to the Spider-Man suit, right? If everything has to work together, if I reach up in here, everything's out, everything's being pulled and stretched. So if the body is designed, our first reflex, our first thing is survival. The body's trying to protect itself. So anytime there's a pain thing, it has to pivot, and either you got to override it or follow it. Okay? So if I move better and I'm not tethered, and if you can imagine structure tethering, there it is, and I got to override it. So I work with a long distance runner from Notre Dame.
Oh, they must love this, yeah.
Yeah. And that was the thing. We're breaking down all these things because we're not always aware of this thing. Oh, I could touch my toes, I could reach, I could do things. I have mobility, but it's not soft tissue mobility. That's a whole different.
It's forced.
It's a whole different thing. And so he calls me up one day and he's so excited. And I goes, new record. And he just said, I ran without pain. And that thought is, if I do something, am I going to hurt it? So I'm backing off from it. So reflexively, you're just trying to override. And so
you got to train longer too if you don't feel bad.
Or you just feel like training. I know, like in the mornings, I get up and like, oh, I'm stiff, I'm sore. I get on this thing, and I'm like, I feel like doing something, which is really the people like, was it this frequency or that? Yeah, there's the science in that.
Yeah.
But we call it the truck in the ditch. If I start getting that truck moving, then everything after that, I have it on the right trajectory. Okay. Once I start moving, everything happens.
Yeah.
But when I stop moving, that's when everything happens the wrong way. So that's really the most core element, and something that I don't have to get in a strange position to do, because we had people with back issue like, oh, you need to loosen your IT band up. Oh, you need to get on the floor. I'm like, do you think I'll be able to get back up? I'm just saying, these are practical issues. And sometimes we have to be more counterintuitive. It's just, maybe we just need to do the opposite. If we're only getting so far in this one thing, let's just try the other way. So the other thing is that your symptoms like are in your hip, okay, and your back, this is not moved away to the structure, because symptom-wise, the sources aren't going to be as symptomatic as it goes to the area that it affects. Okay, that's a symptom, is your back. Okay, so move to me, pivot this way a little bit, and then lean, and you can lean as hard as you can.
Okay. Oh, yeah, now I feel, now where the hips bothering me, now I feel like sensation there. Yeah. Which is probably good, because probably blood's probably flowing there.
Yeah, and your legs just, you're tight. Just how you move. It's almost like, you see those big shrink wrap machines that you put these things? That's time, and it's organic. And structures, we have to look at things in an organic way that it happens in layers. It's like a tree. And so the older we get, the more of those layers we get. And we have certain earlier layers of when we played sports and things, but all the stuff is there. All that scar tissue is there. So we're just breaking down layers. So we're going to have you turn a little bit more. Okay. So you're going to turn and then have more of the front right there.
Okay.
Yeah. How's that feel?
Good. I like it. Can you see me on the camera?
Oh, yeah. She has a couple of them.
You got my good side, huh?
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. But here's the thing. It feels good, so you're going to do more. Yeah. And it's nice. I mean, it's in a way allowing the body to breathe, okay? Now we're going to go so that you're facing, and just drop your knee a little bit. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. And so the reason I created this with the angle and things is, one, it holds you up. So there's a passive, and I can relax into it.
You can still hold on to here, but
and you can, and you could pull into it. I've had athletes, and we've had some pretty large creatures on this thing, and I said, push as hard as you can, because that's what really makes it, is putting as much pressure. And people are like, I can't do that with a muscle gun. You can only put so much in there.
You can feel that
before you break the thing, or the thing just runs out of gas.
Yeah, this is well made, obviously.
Yes, so we manufacture this. Actually, we have Amish manufacturing in Shipshewana, and third or fourth generation. So all of this is made here. The metal's formed, and this is
American made. Like that,
Yes, and then the other company, it's called 80/20, and they're operated out of Fort Wayne. Okay. And so we use a lot of the extruded aluminum and other components.
Is this patented? Do you have a patent on this?
We're working on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Utility patent or?
Yes.
Okay.
And we have the trademark and everything, but I think the thing is that we're just getting it out there and just doing a lot of beta testing. We're always testing. Yeah. All right, and then let's turn you back, and we're going to do some of the back of the thigh. So
this way?
Yeah, just like that, just that.
Okay.
How's that feel there?
Good.
So in terms of what we're working, this in here, if I press it, okay? All right, and you can see you squinted a little bit, all right? All right, the eyes don't lie. And this is why they have sunglasses when they're playing poker, okay? But that is what we need to change. Right, that's your dysfunction, okay? And so, good. Now let's go back to the side again. Now normally, In a clinic situation, if I have a plinth, I could have you on your side,
Okay.
and I could test out your hip flexors, your quads, and your IT band all in one thing. And we may do that a little bit later here. But we could show a before and after
Yeah.
of change.
Good.
But we're going to do the squat test again,
Okay.
and then just come back out there.
See if I can squat.
Yeah.
It's definitely looser. I mean, I on this side, obviously,
Yeah.
because we did the left side, but yeah.
And you can see you're putting more weight into that side,
Yeah.
which is another test. People like have a hard time going up and down stairs or doing squats.
Both my wife and Don could tell you, yeah, there's mornings I can't walk for 10, 15 minutes. Then eventually I get loosened up, but it takes a while.
And the thing is that stretching is what we need, but there's a much more. So when in looking at this, during the 80s, everyone wanted to run.
Yep.
It was all cardio, gym fix and all.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so then we wanted treadmills because cardio was fitness. So then in the 90s, it turned into strength. And the solo flexes and the bow flexes all came out, and it was strength. Strength was fitness. Now, fitness is mobility. Fitness is being able to do this.
Ooh.
So this is, I won't get into price points,
Right.
but we position this in the sense of if during the 80s I wanted to buy a treadmill, I'd get a good treadmill, this is how much it cost, or a decent home gym. So this is the whole new workout. Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check back weekly for more exciting episodes. And don't miss Ink and Insight every Wednesday, where we celebrate iconic authors and dive into their impactful works.